This is Justin AMZN on Monday, December 10th, 2018, with a look at pre-market that actually dipped down just underneath our line here at 1617 and was it 54 cents? Yeah, that one, 1617.54. That was where we bounced right here. I talked about Amazon trying to stay above this line, wanting it to just run from there, and then it just pulled back quite a bit on Friday, and it still had an opportunity to bounce off this line today. And pre-market looks like it's going to do that. As the day opens up, get a massive candle going on up. It's like, okay, now we'll just start to channel in here. We'll bounce back and forth between 1617.54 and our line at 1714.50. $100 range every couple days. That's a great move. Well, today it ran up a little bit and it's trying to get up to 1665, and it's getting really close here and then pulls back hard right into the low here is, if I get on the right candle, 1618.07. Is that right? So just above the line we've got here, which is another great place to buy. I mean, if you weren't buying here at the open off of this bounce, definitely be buying here, because I mean, it just likes to bounce off this level. It's a good line. So it bounces and have a bullish engulfing candle right here. These are massive candles. So you really just got to figure out, okay, where am I going to buy? Where am I going to sell? So it's coming up. I'd like to sell here or here. The very next candle, a very small candle, and then a small one again with an upper wick. And this is like, that is not a very strong candle right there. So, you want to tighten up your stop, especially if you're in way down here. I mean, you've got some gain. So tighten up your stop or just get out. It's not running up here. It's pausing. Let's see, what values was that? All right, a little bit of resistance in this level, some old support, new resistance here, new resistance here. That's a range that was in. So, and it's right at 1650. I mean, nice round number two. So that pulls back and looks like it's just gonna collapse. Put in a new low on the day. Next thing, we got to retest. We can't just drop from here. We've broken this line. Oh, I'm already off of it from 2 days ago. Our low from the open price on Thursday was 1609.85. And so today, I can get right there again. This one is 1611.01. So this is still a little bit higher. Not to say it's going to bounce off that, but it starts to. It looks like it. Okay. We got an instant candle right at our line. What could we do from here? Well, that could be the retest. We're right into the 5. We did have a squeeze form on the single candle and then fire. There were 2 candles into that. It's like that could be a retest. It's not a very long one, but it doesn't have to be a long one. This candle here looks similar to this candle here. This was a much better location to be going bearish off that candle than this one is going bearish off this candle. So what happens? Well, we throw on a hammer. Nice lower wick, get a little lower, put in a new low on the day, and getting pretty close to our line at 1607. So then it continues on lower. So this was the retest. We're breaking down again. Our next line is not on the chart yet, but it's at 1591.04. And we make a beeline to it. So had you been getting out, reversing up here, had you been trying to sell, this would have been a hard place to sell. This one I could see you selling off of that candle and then taking some profit here and then holding the rest to here or possibly here. I don't know. But, this is 3 of our 4 lines in this range. I think there was another one. I think it's at 1578. So that's the next target bearish. But right here, we actually get a decent bounce. The open in this candle is 1591.19, and the low is that same price. So it's a shaved bottom, bullish candle. The low here is 1590.87. So tweezer-ish bottoms here that moved up very quickly, retesting right back into this line, a little bit past it, and continue on up. So if you had been getting in bearish anywhere in here, hopefully you got out. Otherwise, you probably just got stopped out, or you're about to if your stop was way up here. But this really looks like a V bottom, and it could be reversing. Hey, we're back above this line. That was a level that I wanted to hold that as a low, but if we can get a close back above it, that means we threw a lower wick down there, and we still have some opportunity to bounce. Maybe a little weaker of a bounce, but it's possible for having a bounce here. So as this is moving up, looking for a place to short it if it's just going to roll over, or a place to go long if it's going to continue to bounce. So it's kind of indecisive. You start to look at this a little bit more zoomed out. You get some lower highs. Maybe we'll come up a little bit more and then do a triangle back down to 1600. That's a nice round number, and get some sort of a shape on here. Let me see if I can draw something. Oh, I don't have this. Oops. So if we do something like this, there we go. Let's extend that to the right. Okay. So there's a little bit of a downtrend line. I'm going to see if we do anything, and can we get up to this. So let's try and get up to 1640, in the next couple of candles, and continue the triangle there. So we go sideways, some indecision here. Let me zoom into this some more, because this is really hard to see when we're way down here. All right. You can see all yesterday. That helps. It's all right. All right. Some small candles here. Inside candle that does not break higher. It actually reverses. Starting to roll over at the same level. This is evening star reversal. Okay. We can come all the way back down here and then keep going. That works too. We pull back a little bit more. We're sitting on our 1607 line here, and holding that price. And here we go. Now we're going. This is a rest after battle. Is that a shaved bottom? The low and the close are the same. 1605.10. That's a shaved bottom. It is ready to break down. And you can set up a trade with a trigger either right here going bearish, or right here going bearish, and the stop right above it. So that's a nice 1-to-1 down to this line. And then whatever the next target was, I think it was 1578. So that's probably 3R to get down there, maybe 2. Maybe some folks get triggered in here. Some more folks here, and there it goes. Uh-oh, no, it's not just collapsing, it's bouncing. And it's bouncing some more. And if you had your stop here, you're stopped out. So you just lost an R. And we're still below this downtrend. Let me see if I can fit it a little better. I guess that's a little bit different. So we're still below those. This one's really close. We'll just extend it like that. Okay, there's your downtrend. A little bit of an uptrend here of a forming a triangle. We got a squeeze forming now too. Losing that bearish momentum, starting to possibly get a little more bullish, and then we do actually continue to make a higher high. So we made, well, if you don't count that one, then this goes from a low to a higher low here. It looks like it goes to a higher low and then a lower low, but we've made what looks like a double bottom here. And so I'd look for a retest of this neckline. I'm going to call this whole range the neckline, because really we're right. The neckline could be yesterday's close. Neckline could be our price at 1617.54. It could be that whole range as your neckline. This is like its own double bottom that's already broken out. So this has to retest to the line here. And then this looks like a little bigger double bottom. So if we can move forward a little bit, it's continuing up. Look at that really small candle right here. What happened to this price? No, not really much, other than had some pretty decent volume and a really small doji candle. That squeeze is fired bullish, but it still needs to retest. So here's the retest. 3 candle retest. You come right back down into after hours low from Friday, and you got a little bit of a slight gap up. This is your pullback. This is your S curve. This should just rally up to 1665. That's what I'd be looking for. You know, we've retested this downtrend line here. We've got higher lows. You know, this is great. It's working out. Continue on sideways, or continue to move another 15 minutes, and it pulls back a little bit more. Pulls all the way back right into the same line that we've had, and possibly people were stopped out here thinking this was going to bounce. Most likely some were. But this is actually another good place for it to bounce. Back to this line, back to retest this downtrend line. So it's just a matter of, you know, being patient enough for this to set up, for it to give you the prices you want, and being okay to miss the trade. So setting this up like for a buy at this level, if you missed it here and you literally had to leave the trade open, you know, for 25 minutes, and it should have filled here. The question is, you know, can you set it up in such a way that's going to fill, and you won't get stopped out right away based on where you speculate the option price is going to be, where the stop needs to be, and then set up your target right so that you're going to get out on its way up. You know, that's the trouble with this kind of setup. It's harder to do all the calculations for the options, whereas you may have a better idea of what the stock's going to do. So that's what we're getting better at by looking at these videos. Anyway, so we got a bit of a double bottom, big one, and a small one, and then this looks like a double top. Just a small one right here. We've kind of got a big double top here that broke down and then retested and then didn't continue to roll down. But, you know, we've got kind of double tops, double bottoms, some consolidation. If I move this back up, this starts to fit a little, fits a little differently. You know, but it's still, I would say that still works as a downtrend. And I like it better that it's connecting or almost connecting these lines. It would give you a good place to just know kind of where there could be some resistance. And that's what we're going to do here and again here. And then, you know, it just kind of gives you the framework when you get some of these lines in, when they're accurate. We're losing that bullish momentum on a couple of candles and candle pairs in here. But now it looks like we've got a little bit. We're starting to bounce. You got a nice bounce off of this line. And we want to see this just rally, just continue on up. But it's not doing it. Got a little flag here. Then it breaks out. Another maybe little flag forming. All right, breaking out. Nope, no, not breaking out. This is another retest. Pulls down. Puts in kind of indecision candle here. That was the previous breakout point, and you got a squeeze forming. So it would be great if we can get this to continue on bullish, bouncing off of this line. Hey, maybe I can adjust this a little bit more. So many times I've had to adjust these lines just to get them to fit better. Well, the more you wait, the better you're going to figure out that fit, instead of just diving into something like this that didn't touch and you're not sure or not as confident as you could be. Once you got some of these drawn in, hey, you know what? If I connect these like that, that looks like a really good downtrend. And then, you know, I could do the same thing. Let's see if it'll let me duplicate. Hey, there we go. You can do the same thing on the bottom side. So I got some of this going on here. Higher lows, lower highs. This one's much steeper than this one. But, you know, that can be good for, you know, just getting above it and then pulling back to it. And, you know, maybe seeing this consolidate in here back into both. So we'll see if this pulls back a little bit more, go sideways. And it doesn't. It bounces right there. This is a really nice pennant here, just sideways for 25 minutes. You really want to see this break out, make a new pivot here, and make new high here and here if it can get going up there. And so here it is, almost 2 o'clock, and we break down from there. So people who were right here probably had their stops up, looking for a breakout with a really small candle. But just like the last really small candle, like this one, we broke down. So this is starting to look like another double top, but we got to see where it's going to pull back to. Looking at this pattern, the big double bottom, really this is a pullback here, and then a kind of a secondary pullback right into that same level here. And that is corresponding to, some prices here from yesterday or right on that last candle from yesterday. But other than that, not as much weight is given to, where these candles are hitting resistance or support, other than just the couple that are here that we've had drawn in for a long time. So, even if we don't want to draw in these triangles, I mean, they weren't really helping figure out the structure of, kind of what's going to play out today. But, it's still just people trading, and maybe there isn't one. But if we can find a framework, some kind of structure, then it can give us an advantage to get in or to figure out how to trade it and then get in appropriately. So a little bit more on the day here. This started to look like a Morningstar reversal. It just kind of collapsed here. Let's see, the highs on these are 11 cents apart. So this is almost tweezer tops. We'll see if we, this one got below this candle, so it's almost engulfing. But it does break down just to bounce again. So, after a few of these double bottoms, double tops that, played into each other and got harder to figure out what the direction was, by now we should have realized it's more of a sideways day. And so switching back over to the daily, you can see that today's candle is somewhat of a hammer. Now it did throw a lower wick down in here, and the body of this hammer candle isn't as high as it should be for a real hammer, but we didn't have a close below these lows. We wicked through them and came back up. But the next couple days here will be really key to see, okay, do we just continue on up? Do we pull back down? Do we collapse below it? What's that going to look like? I would say this candle, just with where we're at, this candle looks similar to this one, just the opposite color. This was on its way up. This one is on its way down. So, it's possible that tomorrow we'll have a slight gap up here. Look like it wants to run, just get a really, really small candle in a day, and then break down and come back into probably back in to the low 1500s or high 1400s. That's if we continue on this path for a inverted head and shoulders. If we jump back to the 5-minute and look at, let's see, what were we? We're looking to buy this candle here. So that one is at 850. Let's look at the 1700 calls at 850. The option here is a little bit pricey, but the low here, let's say you got in at the low 1260, and then your stop was down here below this one. The low here is 1195. So that would have been within $1 range of each other to be able to trade that. Had you done something like 13 by 12, that should work too, because it just bounced nicely from this and didn't quite get back up to this price. Came back up into the opening 5-minute, that price. So there was opportunity here to get in, just trading off of this previous price, but not knowing for sure. Do you look for a pullback and set your trade up down here in this price range? Or because this wick is less than $1, do I just set it up to trade the open by the low? Is that the setup to capture this? And that's something we'll figure out, because it can be different for each one. Can be different for each option, each kind of real phase or pattern things are presenting in. So we'll get better at figuring out when that is. But anyway, there was another opportunity to buy here, and that was looking at the lows in here. Now what's interesting is this low here, it occurred about half an hour to an hour after the low on the stock, and oops, and we had a low here. That was the first one, and the second one here, and this one has lost some more value. The low on this one was 8. The low here is 782. So there was again opportunity to be buying off of price here, or waiting for a breakout. But if you wait for a breakout, you can maybe not be filled. But if you're waiting for it to pull back to a certain range, maybe you can set it up so that you don't have to watch it and it fills for you, and then it sets up the exit orders for you as well. But that depends on how things are set up with your broker. Anyway, come back in here. There are some opportunities like this candle at 920 to get into some puts. So here's the 920 candle. It's right here. The range on this one is just below $1. So it's possible to set it up to do 11 by 10, and that would have filled and just continue to run. And as it hit that line down at 1591.04, I mean, it was put in this candle, and that's a great move to have from 920 to 1020. So in an hour, to go from $100 risk and go from 11? Go from 11 up to, let's say, 26. That's still a 15-hour trade to do that. So hopefully that's something somebody gained. The only thing I'll point out on here is look at this option. We definitely have let me draw. There we go. We have kind of this downtrend here, and then this shallower downtrend here, and that kind of setup on an option could mean the option is going to pop. This would be for the puts. If it does that, that's possible, but we shall see during the next video how it played out. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is just an AMZN. Thanks.